A shocking night at WeHo, friends, or the very group that you need to be worried about drugging you. And an entire web of Latino influencers involved in this story. We are going to be breaking down the tragic story of Lucas Reyes, who went out to WeHo one night and was quote unquote roofied, or was he? Alright, so just to set the scene for you, we first heard of this story by Lucas Reyes when he showed up on TikTok, and it was after a night out in West Hollywood, California. Now, just to preface here, West Hollywood, California is known for phone stealings. They are known for pouring a heavy hand on that drink, and they're also unfortunately very known for drugging fellow club goers. Now, West Hollywood, California, or this area called WeHo that has an entire strip of bars, is known mostly in the LGBTQ/gay community in Los Angeles, California. So all of the gay clubs are on this same strip. Now, the reason why this story was so compelling was that Lucas Reyes actually is a rising influencer on TikTok. So when he appeared in his bedroom after a night out with a torn shirt, bruises on his body, people were shocked. These videos received over 4 million views and probably still counting to this day. Now, the comment section was immediately sympathetic towards Lucas' situation. I was also very sympathetic towards Lucas Reyes because I thought, this is horrible. This happened like pretty much in my backyard, and I cannot imagine the fear that he probably was feeling. It was his first night out in West Hollywood. Now, it wasn't until May 13th when Lucas Reyes actually started to name the fellow people that were with him at the club. And lo and behold, it was actually a group of very well-known Latino influencers. Influencers who actually vlog regularly their daily lives. Now, I want to mention this because I personally am a fan of adamrayokay and also of Louis Castro, meaning I watch them regularly myself. So when Lucas Reyes told us that this was the group that went out with him and named various different claims against this group, I thought, that's so odd. Of course, you don't know people who are on social media. They could present a very certain image of themselves, but this group in particular has never really been involved in any drama. They've never had any issues with other people. Like all of the members of this group. So it seemed very odd. Now, personally, it was not actually until this video on May 13th where Lucas Reyes was airing out screenshots on his video and also making claims against various different members of that original group that I started to actually look into the story. And not only did I look into the story, but I actually just read his screenshots and saw a couple of other videos and was quickly able to deduce that the story that Lucas Reyes was verbally stating in this video was not really the story of what happened that night. And it seemed by the point that he made that video, he knew that the things that he was saying were not exactly accurate, again, based off the photo evidence that he was presenting in his own video. Alright, so if you clicked on this video, I'm assuming you are familiar with these influencers, but if you are not, we have adamrayokay, we have his boyfriend whose name is Lauro Lopez Jr., and then we have Louis Castro, and we have Fern Flores, who is Louis Castro's boyfriend. Everyone is famous here, or everybody is well known here in this group, but adamrayokay began his rise of fame or social media playing this character called Rosa on TikTok. You probably are familiar with this character if you've been on TikTok long enough. And Louis Castro has been just generally popular on social media, but I feel like he kind of got his start on YouTube. So he is primarily the one that is famous between him and his boyfriend. Now, both of these guys' boyfriends became famous after the public knew that they were dating, and so like now they kind of have like their own social media going. Now, I want to play for you guys a clip from Lucas Reyes' initial video, and you can hear him describe him waking up in a state of shock when he sees what his body looks like.
Making this video on my iPad right now because I have no phone, an entire ripped shirt, bruises and stuff all over my body, more visible ones in the back. I don't know if I'm allowed to even say it, but basically I got, and I just want to get in here and I want to talk about it and talk about my experience. I blacked out completely. I'm just like, I'm trying to process everything right now because everything seems so confusing to me. I don't know what happened. I don't know how to even grasp what has happened. I just know that I have like bruisings and stuff right here, like on my leg. I woke up with no phone, no wallet, my shirt ripped open, having no clue or no memory of what happened the night before. I was throwing up like over 20 times. I was throwing up red and yellow. I just wanted to come on here and share you guys this lesson and to not just go hang out with a group because not everybody will take care of you the same way that you would take care of them. I just wanted to make a video about this because it is really, really scary, guys, to wake up, to not remember anything that happened and to hear he said, she said from everybody else. Mind you, this was my first time ever in this location.
Now, from that video, it's very hard to not sympathize with the fact that he most likely was drugged. As he said, he doesn't remember the night before. He has bruises. We don't exactly know what that was from, and his shirt is torn up. So it's like, we don't really think that there's much more to it other than him being drugged and then maybe like just being super sloppy, like just like the way he got home was probably like, you know, they like carried him in. That's kind of like the picture that is presented here. It's like it's very neutral, but it's obviously scary because you started your night in one spot and then you ended your night in another spot, and that's gonna be scary for anybody. But I want you to listen to the claims that he made in his second video, which were one, that a member of that group, a boyfriend of that group, seemed to have taken advantage of him.
The moment I get there, we go straight to the bar, and the person who invited me gives me shots. We're all taking shots together. He buys shots for everyone, and we're taking shots. Everything's going good. I'm still observing the room, and I'm still looking around, and it's not really my vibe, but I'm just pushing through. I did not buy any shots at all that night. Every shot that I took was given to me. It wasn't that I felt in danger or that I felt unsafe. I just felt unsure. But I stayed because I thought I was in a safe company. I thought I was surrounded around well-known creators that had a good reputation. I know they were mutuals with other friends, and I had not gone out with them before, but I didn't think I was in harm's way. I never thought that people within my own group would be people I would have to look out for. Looking back at it now, that was very close-minded of me to think, and I should have took more precautions. I don't remember going in an Uber. I don't remember going anywhere. I don't remember consenting to anything or doing anything with anyone. This morning, I was sent a video on my DM from somebody, a stranger, that saw my video on TikTok, and the video I seen, it disgusts me. I hate myself for it. I hate that I even had to see that. I can't deny that it was God. What are the odds that somebody was there at that time in that empty strip to record a video, a very vulnerable moment of me leaning on the fence, visibly incoherent, wobbling, not in my five senses, with a person that was left with me to take care of me, somebody from the group, someone that has a public relationship for over 5 years. I know myself well enough, I would never do something like that. When I had got to the hotel already at like 4:30 in the morning, my friend said that I was already visibly gone, that I was blacked out. They had to physically lift me up onto the bed because of how out I was. You can hide your image, you can lie your way out of things, you can make things up, but the truth does not need a stage. It doesn't need a platform. And then eventually truth comes to light, and God works in mysterious ways, and God was working through that person that took that video and sent that video to me. What are the odds that they were able to match that description to the video that I posted? Everybody had went home and they had nothing with this person because the narrative that I was told was that I was so messed up and that things got super messy and crazy and that I had to stay behind. When that person got me to my hotel and my friend was there, started explaining to my friend that I was just messed up, started putting all the blame on me, started saying that I was doing this and that and etc. Started talking about everything that I was doing wrong. Mind you, I have no phone, I have no wallet, I have a flight in the morning. That person took advantage of me. That person saw an opportunity and took it and ran with it and saw that I was vulnerable, saw that I was incoherent, that I was not okay. You've seen the way someone was able to be friendly with me.
Now, the other claim in this video is his state of being returned in a way that he would not have done to somebody else, meaning that this group, the way that they brought him back, was just horrible. They didn't think about him, they didn't care about him, they just put all the blame on him. Lastly, Lucas Reyes reiterates the point that initially got us invested in this story, which is that he was drugged. He says, the hospital found GHB in my system.
It's inevitable that I was not okay, considering my diagnosis. Unintentional poisoning by psychotropic drug and drug withdrawals. I don't do drugs.
Now, if you guys are not familiar with GHB, it is on the streets known as like a date rape drug, which it basically is just in a clear liquid and it's usually dropped inside of alcoholic drinks. You can't taste it, it's clear. And then you basically just get like to a state of like super drunkenness is how I imagine it. And then you don't remember, you like black out for the rest of the night. All right, so just to talk about this piece by piece, I want to talk about the bruises and the ripped shirt that Lucas Reyes woke up in. So after this night of excursions and also of claims that people in your group or the group that you were a part of had done something horrendous to you, other members of that group released their own videos talking about the events that took. Like I said, these are popular influencers, so they have audiences. We have this video of Louis Castro basically describing an altercation that happened outside of one of the clubs when they were heading home. Apparently, according to this video I'm gonna play for you in just 1 second, Louis describes that this boy, Lucas Reyes, tried to kiss him in front of his boyfriend, Fern Flores. Fern, when he saw that, he immediately was shocked and he pulled Lucas Reyes' shirt, is what Louis Castro says. I'm gonna play that video for you right now.
So we were heading out of the club, we were going to call our Ubers when Lucas tried to come on to me to kiss me. When Lucas tried to kiss me, with my partner being there, my partner saw and immediately confronted Lucas about it in a very angry manner, as I believe any other partner would. In that moment, I was so shocked that Lucas tried to kiss me because I didn't see it coming. When my boyfriend confronted him, it turned angry on both ends very quickly and they began to fight. I almost don't even want to use the word fight because there wasn't much of a fight. It was more of my boyfriend confronting Lucas. I believe my boyfriend pulled his shirt, and that's about all my boyfriend got to Lucas. Lucas ends up pushing both me and my boyfriend to the ground twice. And I'm going to show some of the pictures from that night and what me and my boyfriend had because of that fight.
Then Louis, I think unknowingly providing, like I said, providing an explanation for those bruises, mentions that his boyfriend and Lucas were in an altercation. In fact, they were pushing each other, one was pushing the other. Louis and his boyfriend eventually fell to the floor. It was just kind of this little mini brawl that happened. So then we look back at that original video and we're like, okay, that makes sense. Okay, the bruises probably came from this, right? Okay, so, but that doesn't matter because Lucas still was definitely drugged. He's probably taken advantage of, as he's mentioning. But then we examine the claim of being taken advantage of. And this is where the internet quickly deduces, okay, the last person that was with Lucas Reyes was Lauro Lopez, which again is Adam Rayokay's boyfriend. Now, this kind of came out around a similar time that Lucas Reyes hadn't yet released that most recent video, but he was talking about it because he was on live. He had another video of himself inside of the hospital, basically doing like testing, it looked like. So the internet was like, okay, something else is going on here a little bit deeper. So they basically realized through people that were actually in West Hollywood who got videos and photos of that night that the last person that was with Lucas Reyes or left with him was actually Lauro Lopez, again, the boyfriend of adamrayokay. And then Lauro Lopez releases his own video talking about his part of that night, and he basically admits that he actually kissed Lucas Reyes. So apparently after that brawl with Louis, after Lucas tried to kiss Louis, the boys got split apart. Lauro Lopez, the boyfriend of adamrayokay, went with Lucas, and then the other boys went elsewhere just to kind of split them apart. While Lauro Lopez was with Lucas Reyes, Lucas then kissed Lauro, and Lauro accepted that kiss. Now, I do note this was not found out until a couple of days after this event, but still, it was very crazy that Lauro Lopez would accept the kiss after that entire brawl that he just witnessed. This guy was trying to kiss his friend's partner, or basically his friend, and in front of the partner, but Lauro still, oddly enough, accepted a kiss from this person. I thought that is super weird. I'm like, why would you accept a kiss from someone who literally just got in a whole fight right now in front of you over a similar thing? I don't know. It didn't seem to me like it's like oh, I'm surprised receiving this kiss. It's like it literally just happened in front of your face like two minutes ago, and it was an issue. Like, it's an issue. That would be wrong to do that. Anyways, but again, we look at the claim of whether Lauro took advantage of him, because Lucas continues to insist in his most recent TikTok video that he was taken advantage of. He was in a very vulnerable state. It was the boyfriend of a famous influencer, all these things. And it almost made it seem to the internet that Lucas Reyes was raped by Lauro, and people were absolutely shocked. Now, like I said, it wasn't until Lucas Reyes actually commented on the situation himself and shared a screenshot that we saw the screenshot that was behind him and read that actually Lauro just dropped off Lucas. Apparently, there was a friend of Lucas staying in that same hotel, and then Lauro and that friend stayed in that hotel for a couple of hours, and then Lauro just went back home. Now, first, this is a text message by adamrayokay. So apparently Lucas Reyes is contacting everybody. He's trying to figure out what happened that night. This is what adamrayokay says about his boyfriend. He says that blank ended. Now, we know that blank is actually Louis. So Louis ended up catching a ride, and blank, Lauro, stayed with you until you were safe back with blank. Now, this is the name of the friend of Lucas Reyes that was in the hotel that, helped bring Lucas Reyes up to the hotel room. Blank was on the phone with blank pretty much the entire time to try and locate your da-da-da. There's more information there because Lucas also lost his phone that night after that little brawl. So basically he's just saying Lauro brought you to your hotel until he was able to see you off with this person. Now we have a text message between Lucas and, I'm assuming it was the friend that saw him in the hotel, or that was staying with him in the hotel that met Lauro that night. So this is the conversation here. So it says, you were literally blacked out and gone as F. Couldn't even talk. It didn't make sense, and your eyes were mostly closed the whole time. We had to lead you to the hotel room, and you just fell asleep. And then Lucas responds back. He says, and the guy who took me back, was he good, or was he also messed up too? And the friend responds that he told me he had drank, but he was probably just a little tipsy, but looked sober. Lucas responds, he fell asleep right away too, or question mark. The friend says, no, we were both just talking for 2 hours. So nothing about this was about Lauro being in the room with him, Lauro taking advantage of him. No, he was like what Lucas was trying to figure out basically was was Lauro drunk? No, Lauro was actually sober. Okay. And that was basically it. That's kind of the extent of Lucas's investigation. It wasn't that, okay, did Lauro ever come in the room at all? Did Lauro ever check on me? Were we ever alone together in the hotel? What happened? It wasn't any of that. It was just okay, was Lauro drunk or not? No, we talked for a couple hours and then he went home, I also think what is so alarming about Lucas's post, again, I think it is the purposeful misuse of terminology in front of the camera, verbally stating certain things to make people think that something more happened to you. Because if you watch to the very end of that video in the last 30 seconds, Lucas does say, okay, what if my friend wasn't there? Could you just imagine what could have happened? So he's also basically saying yeah, I know that this didn't happen, but what if? Imagine it happened.
I can't imagine if my friend was not in that hotel room, what could have happened, the possibility, but really happened, why did this happen? Never did I think I would hear my mom crying on Mother's Day, and that I would be going through this in the hospital, not knowing what happened to me.
I get it. I get what the fear that could run through your mind, but you cannot ask somebody on the thought of a thought, really. Just thinking that what if this person maybe could have done this thing and thought to do this thing, because and at the end of the day, it did not happen. But you are going on the internet and basically alluding to the fact that it did. And I want to say here that it's not a question, again, of oh no, people took my words and twisted it. Like, he allowed for this to play out. He knew that people were saying these things because I personally did two TikTok videos on this subject, which was like my mini little claim to fame on TikTok. I got so many new followers on it. Thank you guys. If anyone's coming from TikTok to YouTube, thank you guys for joining. People were like, yeah, we also thought that was weird. Like, it was definitely very, very heavily implied by Lucas that he was sexually assaulted, that he was raped, that the group took advantage of him, that he was beat up. Whatever the question was, it was very much so implied that people thought it was odd. Again, considering this specific group of people that are not really about drama, they're not really like, they don't get into issues like that. But I want to talk about the GHB claim because that was one that I later came to realization after I posted my initial video on TikTok, where I was just kind of questioning some of the things that Lucas was saying, but I was like very much under the camp that Lucas for sure probably was drugged that night, because why wouldn't he be? He doesn't remember stuff. Like, that just seems like an obvious thing. Like, why would you lie about that thing? In fact, I'm going to show you guys in his text messages, he was writing to adamrayokay, to other individuals, that he had GHB in his system. The hospital found GHB in his system. All right, so this is a quote from Lucas Reyes. He says, because I was throwing up all day and they found GHB in my system, which really scares me. So this was just one of the messages that I saw. I think there was a couple of other ones I want to say that were in his video, but he's basically saying the hospital found this in my system. Again, I just had a little suspicion because he was saying to everybody that he had GHB in the system, but it was only in text messages that I saw that being referenced. And I was like, maybe there was video of him in the hospital, maybe it was video like him showing the report that there's GHB, something, because he's talking about the story. He's basically kind of reporting on this story. So I couldn't find that. And then I found a video where the doctor, or maybe it's a nurse, I'm not sure, it is a female. I'm not saying that females cannot be doctors, okay? But I don't know exactly who this is. But somebody is talking to him in the hospital staff member, and is saying to him, basically, they're not able to test for GHB. So watch that video.
I don't know what color it is, but it's really like common in like the club scene, like concerts, whatever, you know. And we can't really test for it. It's more of like a clinical diagnosis, but you know, given what you said to me, it makes sense that, you know, somebody probably slipped it in your drink, unfortunately. Okay? Just be careful. You gotta cover it.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I know. Be with the right people.
Yeah.
You guys, I was beside myself because I was like, are you kidding me? The only thing, Lucas, that I thought that you were truthful in was about the roofie thing. That was the thing that I was like, okay, you know what? Even though he wasn't assaulted, but he says that he was, even though he wasn't beat up, but he made it seem like he was, he still must have been drugged. There's no way that he lied about this. And lo and behold, he was not tested. At least it didn't seem as though he was tested when he made his video. So just to give you guys a little timeline here, on May 9th, he posted that initial video. And then on May 11th, he posted a video of him inside of a hospital, because he also mentions in the caption that he should be celebrating Mother's Day, but he is here in the hospital and he's in like the hospital gown and stuff like that. So the video where the nurse is talking to him, we know that is at least 24 hours to 48 hours after that initial video. So why does this matter? You might be asking yourself, why, Kevin, why does this matter? Why does this matter, the gap between these two? It is because even if the hospital did have the test for GHB, there's only one GHB test that he is actually eligible to take by the time that he appears in the hospital. Okay, I'm going to read to you guys this quote from American Addiction Centers. Most standard drug tests do not test for the presence of GHB in your system, and few people test positive for GHB, even when they have used it. Nonetheless, urine, blood, saliva, and hair tests have been developed to test for GHB. The below are detection times by body system. So I'm going to show you this chart now, and you can see that there's a test for blood where you can take that up to 8 hours of exposure, hair up to 1 month, saliva up to 6 hours, and then urine up to 12 hours. So like I said, there was 24 to 48 hour gap between those two videos. Lucas would have only been eligible to take the hair test, which I have read is the least reliable among all of these tests. Now, I just want to be 100% clear here. I do still believe it is possible that Lucas Reyes was actually roofied that night. I think that it was possible that Lucas Reyes maybe also could have had too much to drink. But what I think is definitely alarming, and why this video, I was so compelled to make it on TikTok and then on YouTube, is because there was so much information that Lucas Reyes got wrong, that it has to be. There's like no question that it has to be purposefully misconstructed for me, because I'm like, you just happen to get so many details of this story, this very important story, wrong. Now, I want to know that there was another content creator by the name of Salem who actually interacted with this group that same night in West Hollywood. She basically describes that Lucas Reyes was trying to push her and then was also trying to kiss the friend that she was with. So it obviously is clear that Lucas Reyes was just on one that night. Whether it came from a point of curiosity, whether that came from just like him being like super horny, I don't know what it was, but he was definitely on one night. And I was trying to figure out like what the motive of this guy was. I was trying to figure out, I was like, first of all, like, is this guy even out of the closet? I found one video on TikTok where there's kind of an allusion to that. Like the commenters think that this is kind of him saying that he's out and things like that. Like it's just him in a photo of this other influencer by the name of Larry, who is like known to be like LGBTQ. So in that comment, we just see like Lucas kind of joking with the commenters. Like he's not really like confirming that he is out of the closet. He's not really confirming that he's not out of the closet. So it's kind of a question mark there. But it makes me think, okay, maybe, because obviously Lucas was trying to kiss two of the people that night, two people that had partners or have partners. And maybe after that night of being out, he was just embarrassed of his own actions, that he wanted to think of a story. He thought maybe if I say that I was drugged or I said that I was roofied, then I don't really have to take accountability for this. Because also, if you think about it, why he ends up naming these people and saying they did this and this and this to me is because he basically ruined those 4 relationships. All right, just to close off here, I have to react to this final video, which is basically somebody ended up posting a video of the actual altercation, and you could basically you'll just have to see it for yourself. Alright, so from that video, you can see obviously Lucas Reyes is holding himself up. He's holding himself on the banister. He actually ends up pushing Louis and Fern to the ground, not in any kind of violent way, but Louis is also pulling his boyfriend off of Lucas. But Lucas ends up, like, you know, he doesn't fall to the ground. He's able to maintain his composure. But you'll also see adamrayokay and then his boyfriend Lauro just looking like super awkwardly at Lucas and them fighting. And it's so funny because also adamrayokay came out with like his own version of the story, which is basically like he tried to defuse the situation, and obviously he's literally just staring at those two. So I don't know how much diffusion that truly is, but still, we basically can just see another piece of evidence of maybe people who had too much to drink, maybe people who made a mistake, maybe people who went out with these people intentionally to try to maybe cause some drama and get a little bit more following on his platform. We can also see that there are some text messages between Lucas that he shares that are a conversation with his friend at the start of the night. He basically is kind of foreshadowing the fact that these people that he's with, like one of them is being super touchy and the other ones are telling him about how WeHo is this dangerous place. Again, this is actually Lucas's first time ever going there, so he makes a very believable story about a place that people are familiar with. But I just think like his rendition of the story, and why I started to kind of catch on that it was a little bit of BS, was that it was just the story that somebody tells that they're not really that actually familiar with that area. I personally have gone to West Hollywood even by myself, and it's been fine. Of course, bad things happen, but it's not like a dangerous place. Of course, those things happen, but yeah, you're not destined to be roofied or destined to have your phone pickpocketed. It's just something that unfortunately happens, or because it's a club area. Now, just want to say to Lucas, now, like I said, I do think that it's possible that you could have been drugged, and I have shared my tips for Lucas on what I think he should do, which is basically just, you're still eligible to get that hair test because it's up to 1 month. Feel free to share those results when you do have them. And then you're also able to ask for the footage inside of the club from the police if there is an open, active criminal investigation, which he claims that there was an open investigation, which is why he wants people to send him photos and videos of that night privately. Don't post them online. But it's not because I'm embarrassed of my actions and maybe in the closet. It's definitely because there is an investigation going on and we must look for it. Anyways, I want to know, what do you guys think about this situation? Leave a comment below, and I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in for today. Bye, everybody.